Hey there team, and welcome to something that I really should have done quite some time ago, but I've just been, a lot of things really just gone in the way, and, finally getting around to it now though. This is kind of going to be my first impressions video for Silmarillion, in which I'll have a quick chat about what I feel about it all, and okay good, that is on minimum, and yeah, just sort of go through some of my first battles. So I've done a battle on Silmarillion already, which was a siege I did some time ago. But we've got definitely three. I'll go through my first 1v1, then this little 3-man free-for-all, and then I'll do a 2v2. And then we might do that last 1v1, but it really is more of just me and somebody else messing around, kind of testing out units against each other. So we'll jump straight into this one anyway. So I really am psyched about Silmarillion Total War. It's nice to get a game that is like we're sticking in Medieval 2, which is definitely the closest to my heart when it comes to Total War games. Although I may really enjoy a lot of the newer ones, well, like Warhammer and Napoleon and Empire are definitely quite close to my heart. Medieval is still my favourite, and Shogun, of course, totally forgot about Shogun too, but no, Medieval's where it's at for me, so it's just another reason for me to play some of it. And I really would like to play some more Silmarillion, but unfortunately with this next month, the way it's going to be, I'm probably not going to be able to get much of anything played, so we'll just have to make do with what we've got. I'm checking out the House of Finnefer here. Now, as you guys might know, I'm not a massive lover of cavalry. Cavalry for me is really just there to counter enemy cavalry rather than to really win me battles. And Finnefer lacks cavalry entirely. So I was thinking maybe this will be good for me, but I really do rely on having a decent melee cavalry just to catch enemy cavalry units. And I'm facing the Sons of Feanor today, so that's going to be pretty scary. But the House of Finnefer has got all the tools that are needed to deal with cavalry, and they have, as it stands, I believe they've got sort of the best middle line units, the sort of the most efficient mid-line units in the game. So I'm, this should really be quite good for me. I've got my, yeah, good, I'm starting to actually finally organise. So up at the front, I've got my Wardens of Nargothrond. So these are bows there, and then right behind them, the Wardens are the Spearmen. In front of them, it's the Archers of Talth Dernan. So they're all my archers, backed up by the Wardens of Nargothrond. So nice and sturdy. Decent armour on them, but nothing like the Sons of Feanor, of course. Behind them, because I do like to go pretty archer heavy, especially when I know I'm going to be out cavalried, I've got my Scouts of Tower in Faroth. So yeah, they're actually spears in melee, but which is going to be quite beneficial for me. Lacking any cavalry, these guys can really take care of themselves from cavalry attacks, and also some more archers. But they're a bit softer, so I've put them further back. These archers of Talith Dernan are out front because they can take a bit of a beating with their armor. I have the Bridge Wards of Nargothrond, which is the only pike that's really in the game. Actually, yeah, it's currently the only pike in the game. There are some orc boys that do get a halberd, which can do the same thing as pikes, but definitely not as good. And I've got two of them. And behind them, some swordsmen of Talith Dernan that get a javelin. Now, a big issue for me, especially having my pikes there, I'm really lacking AP, and the Sons of Feanor have a lot of really good armor. Now, these javelins are unfortunately not AP. It's only the smaller detachment unit that has AP on their javelins. The stalkers here, they're just sort of light infantry, I believe. They've not got anything to throw. Behind them, the defenders, I've got my floating spears there, as I like to take. I've got Sartor Fin. I should sort of try and say this name. Defenders of Tirith Dernan. Yeah, of course. So they're my Wardens of Nargothrond. These are the Defenders of Talith Dernan. The Sartor Findarator. Let's go for that, yeah. The Sartor is, unfortunately, I'm probably going to be describing them for now. And that's really just because I wanted as many elite units as I could get on the field. Because the Sons of Feanor are going to be stacking them up. And I've got what might be... I don't know if it's my favourite looking unit. It's definitely up there. The Arqueni Morm Egilwa. I'll say again, Arqueni. Arqueni, yeah, it's probably, I will have to go for them. Something I'm pretty certain about, though, is that general is one of my favourite looking generals, like, full stop. You can throw all the Reforged generals in there, too. I think he's probably got it. House of Finnefar's general is probably my favourite. And then some more stalkers on my right, on my left flank even, and the defenders. Again, I'm a big fan of symmetry, as maybe clear. We've got Japper MP, who has got some mounted company of Killigorm. Behind them, some footmen of Amras. I can't tell you if they've received an armor upgrade or not. I'm sorry. But they do have the ability to receive it. That's all I can say. A lot of humans leading the way, these shield bearers of Helivorn. Just a nice long line of those shield bearers and some more footmen on their left flank. And another mounted company right there. Behind that line are some archers of Amrod, mixing up with some rangers of Helivorn that are moving forward too. Yep, and that's... So I do have the archer advantage, that's something that is immediately clear to me. But behind those archers, we've got some more footmen of Amras and some Otern... Maitimo? I don't know, that sounds a bit too Italian to be Elven. And then finally, the Roqueni Magloro. So these are the General's Bodyguard. I believe they're knights. I believe they're the only real knight unit in the game right now, and that's the General in the back. So, yeah, definitely pretty fearsome. Not too worried about the mounted company, but still pretty worried about them, I guess. Heavily armoured, so my best way to deal with cavalry is, of course, if they get stuck in with the bridge wards, my spearmen, but the way I kind of want to deal with them, just shoot them to pieces. But the problem is, these guys aren't wargs or anything. They're heavily armoured. They're, you know, they're Feanor men at the end of the day. So, he's already in range, but as am I, and I'm more than happy to stay here and just let him come to me. I've got the archer advantage, and yeah, why approach them? So, firing up. Oh, nice. Of course, the scouts have actually got poison arrows. So, I'm targeting the footmen. I'm not really too worried about those shield bearers. Because those humans just can't really dish out too much damage, and also the archers are kind of firing into them. They're really there to absorb my fire. Maybe I should have ignored them even more and just gone for something else entirely. Oh, yep, good. The mounted company are coming forward right away there, and on the right flank too. So it's a bit dicey, definitely. As I say, this is not really... This is more of me talking about the game as a whole. But when the battles are running, I will chat about what's happening. Definitely should have fallen back there. I'm way too slow on the uptake there when it pops. That's... I wonder why that took me so long. But, either way, I managed to get my spears stuck in with that mounted company there. And some spears stuck in with this mounted company. And because of how sort of jumbled that formation is, they're going to be having a bit of trouble getting out of that. But the footmen of Amras have pierced on through, and they're going to get stuck into my swordsmen, who are able to throw a quick javelin volley. It does a fair bit of damage. These guys will be getting back up, but it'll hurt, you know. But as I say, lacking that AP, these guys heavily armoured, shooting into their side there. I'm actually going to have to slow down a little bit more. Jeepers, this is a quick little fight here. But yet, the mounted company are still in the fight there, and I'm getting swallowed up on this front line. The shield bearers are all around my spearmen there, and I really should have been faster on the mark getting the reinforcements forward. Let's zoom in. There's no point in having the map spread out that far. Oh, cheapers, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Yeah, here, there, again, the wardens. This is just overwhelming numbers. Man versus man, these elves would be cutting through those humans, but they're just too badly outnumbered. The bridge wards, once the bridge wards get set up, though, that will definitely be going in my favour. As many spear thrusts as I managed to get into those cavaliers, they did get out of there with 42. As I say, they may be lancers, but they're heavily armoured lancers at the end of the day, so they can take a bit of a beating. firing off my arrows. What am I going in for, really? The defenders, I guess. Yeah, they're heavily armored, but they lack a shield, so I don't really want them reaching melee totally healthy, so I can see why I'm targeting that. These battles were all pplayed at the end of December, so, you know, as I say, I'm kind of trying to look at the skills of my past. Yeah, I always talk this up. I love two-handed spears. It's just such a cool concept for me. So I like when they take those out. The footmen are having some trouble up against my footmen, and I really think that early jab volley helps a lot, just to help turn the scales a bit. I should be running my stalkers around the side in order to get that flank, but of course what I'm scared about on these flanks are the cavaliers, so I've got to keep an eye out for that. I can't just sort of outflank my enemy with a you know, willy-nilly, because he'll just punish those sorts of movements. But the whole time he's got his knights at the back lines, so as much damage as they can try and do to these mounted company, they're still around. Those wardens are standing their ground though. Immense defensive skill from these elven spears. Maybe not going to be dishing out too much damage, but you know, they're going to hold, even when they're in this sort of really unpleasant position. Getting some backup though from the elite Sartor units, and the bridge wards are coming forward. I see. This is a bit dumb of me. I'm actually sort of charging out and trying to chase down those cav. See, so I'm kind of, as nasty as it was looking before, when my bridge wards get stuck into the fight, it does kind of turn for me a bit. And maybe I should have focused a bit more on just winning the infantry engagement, instead of trying to chase down the cav, which he's kind of getting me to do right now. He's really sort of pulling my defenders away and exposing my main line. Those footmen now that they sort of the shock and awe of those javelins. Oh, damn, those javelins are trying to throw? That's a bit silly of me. Maybe I'm giving them the order like throw at the cav or something like that. Bit dumb. No, I should just be fighting the guys in front of them. Got some swordsmen here that have their javelins ready to fire. And some of the scouts have fallen all the way at the back there. How is the front line going? Yeah, as I say, it's the bridge wards and even the wardens, yeah, over here, they're doing pretty nicely. And as is my nature, I do like to get my elite units thrown into the fight as early as possible. So I'm wondering where my general is right now. I don't see him. Is he over here? No, it's just the Sartor over here. Yeah, I couldn't really see. But he's managed to get his defenders of Aglon. Let's go back up a bit faster now. The defenders of Aglon have pushed on through. Oh, fantastic! Yes, this we may be in a different mod, but we still have this. It seems to have gone on longer. That seems even more dramatic than it is in Reforged, which hey, I'm a big fan of that. Good. Arqueni have come up, and Arqueni going toe-to-toe with the defenders here. I felt pretty comfortable about that fight, especially with a little bit of assistance that they'll be getting. But I just love his sword too. Yeah, there's just something about that. Everything about him just looks really cool to me. The bridge ward's kind of shuffling around there. I wonder why I shouldn't be doing that. Should I have to... I think I'm just scared of Cav. That's why. But yeah, you can see how bad this has gotten. I charged all the way out here, and now he's Cav, so he can just get around me and lance these poor swordsmen in the back. As much as it might hurt, I should really watch this. Okay, yep, that's a massive amount of casualties there. Really bad, yeah. Not what you want to see. And now Rangers of Hellevorn coming in their front. It's not going to be fun. Again, they'd be able to mop the floor with the Rangers of Hellevorn, but getting lanced in the back is really not good. They're pushing through with some more defenders there. These defenders are actually doing quite a good job, even in spite of my Arqueni cutting through them. I'm looking forward to seeing how they are going to try and implement like an entirely human faction. Because this, we're in the first age. Humans are really not as big a thing here. This is really an elven-focused age. So I'll, when we do have these very powerful orcish factions, humans are no longer really, we're not talking the great, heavily armored Gondorian swordsmen. We have, that's not quite the stage we're at with humanity. So it'll be interesting to see what tools we try to give humans in order to, let them go toe to toe with these guys. bridge wards still just bashing away. As I say, wherever the bridge wards are, we are having some good success. And the Sartor, being as good as they are slicing through this. Now the issue, of course, having the Sartor thrown in means I'm lacking a unit of cavalry. They managed to get a good lance charge into my archers there. Now, of course, these are not the stalkers, or the scouts even, sorry. These are not the scouts that do have a spear. You know, they tried to come in for a charge here, and they suffered quite a bit for it. But little by little, we're at 49 for 43, so I am down right now. And I'm having to send some of my scouts forward into melee to back up the Arqueni. Really should probably be keeping them back, because they are spearmen at the end of the day. And they could just be on anti-cavalry duties.
Only half our force remains.
That's not fun to see. The bridge wards having some good success there, just cutting through what's left of the shield guard, and the stalkers fighting alongside some swordsmen. Now the issue over here, we may be slicing through them, there's no spears over here. And when you're fighting on the flank without any spearmen nearby, that's not a fun situation. And I don't really have anything in reserve, whereas he has still got his knights, and he's still got those archers, you know, untouched back there.
Only half the enemy force.
Swordsmen, the footmen of Amras have mopped the floor with these guys over here, and they're now pushing around to engage my poor archers. Not got much ammo left in these archers though, so that's not the end of the world. Another lance charge coming toward the sides of my bridge wards. So that's a bit messy, and I do turn around and start stabbing at them. Now, the issue, of course, turning around to stab at them, I might do a tremendous amount of damage very quickly, but all the while that I'm doing that, I'm taking stabs in the back from the Otern forces. And, yeah, that's pretty messy, and that's kind of thrown them into disarray. Quick lance charge in the back here to my Sartor. Once again, turn around, stab a few of them, but it allows the shield bearers to get a good few backstabs. And the Arqueni just about mopped that through, but the knights have been moved forward. And the stalkers taking some javelin fire to the back. Those guys aren't getting back. Oh, good, they are getting back up. Nice. He got back up, but then he got another javelin in the back, unfortunately. Defender's broken there. Good to see. But the defenders break just in time for the knights to come flying forward. A very disorganized charge, which is going to allow my swordsmen to take a few, well, give a few slices to them, but lacking any anti-cavalry bonus, that's going to be messy. The wardens up here, they could do with getting thrown into the fight, but they're currently taking a lot of arrow fire. Another unit of defenders that have just been getting thrown around in a wild goose chase coming back now. But yeah, the bridge ward, as I say, this is such an amazing tool that the House of Finnefer has, and especially up against sort of more lightly armored enemies, their true sort of power is not really going to be coming through when they're trying to stab into the House of Feanor too well. Yeah, my swordsman's still kind of surrounded by the Otern. I really should say Otern Maitimo. Otern Maitimo. Yeah. They're having no trouble there, and a good quick lance charge will put an end to them, especially from a unit as good as the Roqueni. And that's them just about dealt with. So this is pretty clear how this is going now. Let's just perch ourselves up here and just sort of watch it for now. What do we end up with? Kind of 80 for 68. Yeah, that was just me being silly. I just I allowed my spearmen to get dragged all around, sort of chasing their cavalry down, whereas instead of doing the job that the spearmen are meant to do, which is more just warding the cavalry away, I was far too interested in the idea of actually killing the cavalry. So that was very well played on his part. And I also did not use my scouts to their true power. You know, that was a big issue for me. When they did run out of ammunition, I kind of threw them into the melee, when I really, you know, the main line melee wasn't where I was having trouble. My troubles came from the enemy cavalry. So had I just had these units of archers, when they ran out of ammunition, just remained as floating spearmen, that really could have been quite beneficial for me. Yeah, some archers there getting stabbed by the Roqueni again. And yeah, it's just little by little. We still hold out for another 500 or so frames, but it is coming to an end. I don't think I admit defeat. I'm a very stubborn loser, I've got to say, and I think I give the Arquini a good chance to just fight it out. But all in all, yep, that was my first time fighting up against the House of Feanor. So it was pretty scary, and definitely gave me a lot to think about. You can see, even though he had lots and lots of humans, he didn't actually deploy that much less than me. You know, because that seems to be the House of Finnefar's sort of shenanigans. Like, it's good just all around tier units. I won't comment too much on all of this, but I will sort of cast my eyes over it. The Arquini, of course, slicing through heaps, but they were generally fighting up against a lot of humans. The scouts, as I say, just not really being used too well, and up against that great armor, even the humans have a nice shield. They might not have good armor, but they can be given an armor upgrade actually too, so maybe they were given that. I wouldn't really know. And the bridge wards here, 110 from them, quite nice, but 61 from those guys. They were fighting the Altern, or Otomo. One of the two. But yeah, so pretty good stuff, and we'll move on to the next one. Oh, that's a lovely image. But yeah, so I'll probably not do any cuts here. I'll probably just go through it all as we get into this. Nope, this one. So as I say, a free-for-all, especially like oh, that's really cool too. It's nice to just do these loading screens because you get so used to like the Reforged loading screens, and you come over here and it's a bunch of different ones. I quite like whenever I watch any of Aguilar or Arhir Galudathon's campaign videos, because I don't really play much Divide and Conquer, but I quite like to watch his videos. So when I see his loading screens, I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, cool. It's different. So Doriath now. Doriath is definitely a faction I think I feel much more comfortable with. They do have a pretty firm main line, but they do have 1 or 2 units of cavalry. I freaking love these guys. Look at them. And it's the aesthetic as well, and the lore behind Doriath is, like, for me, out of all of the factions that we have so far, the lore-wise, Doriath interests me the most. I suppose, I mean, what do I say? I find these like kind of isolationist, kind of don't go away sort of factions to be very interesting in lores. So yeah, got the Warriors of Region. Damn, they're just cool. I love their helmets. I love the sort of very sort of dark tones that they have, and then the silvers for their elite units. Their shields are really cool. It's like the Mirkwood main line units on crack, really. So I suppose that's what Doriath is. It is Mirkwood on crack. So good, I'm formed up, so let's slow it down to make sure we can get through our units. Of course, you can never really expect anything too serious from I'll make that clear right from the start. You can never expect anything too serious from a 3-man free-for-all. But yeah, I've got my Marksmen of Region out front, mixed in with some Wardens of the Girdle, and another Marksman of Region. Being a free-for-all, I'm more wanting to get stuck in, so I'm less on my archers than I maybe would normally be. Behind them, though, I have my Shield Bearers of Region, Spear Host of the Girdle, and then some more Shield Bearers of Region. Lots of spears to back up the archers if they need to. Also, these spearmen have javelins, which will be nice to use. Sword Host of Region behind them. As I say, nothing that could really go toe-to-toe with the great stuff of Feanor, but really damn nice, in all honesty. But, they're Elven Swordsmen, sorry. The Warriors of Region, though, these are damn interesting. Really could have done with a few of these in the last battle. I love the axe there, and just the fact of, like, having this big two-handed AP, axe-wielding elf is a big interest to me. I do talk about that a lot, just my concept of I really like elves with big weapons. I've got a Shield Bearers of Region here, which is the detachments. I'll talk about the detachments further later on, but I love them. Then the Mounted Company of Region. So these are some melee cavalry. They're not absolutely great at it, but they're decent enough. As I say, I'm not looking for my melee cavalry to beat the enemy cavalry, but just to hold it in place. Another thing that I love about Doriath is an Archer General. Actually, damn it. Look at him. Look at that guy. I don't know if he beats him or not. I don't know, he's really cool. He is really cool. It's hard to say. Having an archer general for me is a big thing. I don't know why. It makes sense for me to have my general in an archer unit. So that's a big bonus. And then a big ol' mace-wielding, armor-piercing elite unit there too is quite a tempting thing. You know, in my mind, you know, I've got my Hearthguard of Amon's Soul, and then I've got my Tharbad Warhammers right there. You know, just a lot better. And then another unit of the Shield Bearers on the left flank. Again, just floating spearmen. So it's great that I can have my detachments just to do that. And that is that. So we'll get stuck in. It's kind of sad to be positioned up here in this 3-man free-for-all, because you're definitely the one that's out of the way. So you've got to get stuck in as quickly as you can before your enemies really sort of mince each other. It really sucks that there's a lot of fog today, because I quite like this map. We'll have a quick sort of gander over it, but yeah, there's this sort of nice river down the middle. That could be a pretty bloody fight if you had an army on either side. Let's have a quick look at what my enemies have on the field. So we've got blindness here. So he's got his bulldogs of Angband, and that's where he's got his general today. A Nazgul has come back in time to take command of these bulldogs. They do look very unpleasant, don't they? Yeah. Then next to them, the Iron Shod Arbalists, some great crossbows to bring to the field. Iron Shod Ravagers, and then the Halberd line backed up by some wretches of Angband. So very unpleasant, but pretty good to just... they're really there to just provide a bit more mass to the Halberd line. Iron Shod Reavers there, they really, you know... Oh, they lack a shield? No, they do have a shield, they've just got a very damn small one. The Troll Guard of Gothmog, some more Arbalists. In the center here, the Valar Aukar, the Balrogs. I'm afraid that's all I can really go for that. And then some more Troll Guards. So we've got these 3 separate large units, large monstrous infantry, as the later games would call them. Over here we've got the Wolf Riders of Angband, 2 Wolf Riders of Angband. So my poor melee cavalry there would definitely get outmatched by this, but at least they are not going to be lancing me to pieces. Across the way though, we have once again Japper MP, and he has brought his House of Feanor. So he's got, looks like quite a similar force, a nice line of infantry, well, men, and then backed up by, well, alongside these footmen. The elves taking the left flank, so that's definitely where he's hoping to do the most of his damage. Mounted company of Curafin there, so that's a different cavalry unit. They've got some javelins. In the far back here, we have the knights. Oh no, these are just the mounted company of Killigorm. Along this line, we have the knights right here. No general in with them today, though. And another mounted company of Killigorm. Archers, some huntsmen of Thargelion, so they're pretty nice. And again, once again, 2-handed spears in melee, and the Otern defenders there, and that looks dandy. So we'll get stuck in. As I say, this is unfortunate, kind of, but just because of my position. You know, I'm gonna try and come in as quickly as I can. I'm marching right away, but they're kind of lined up right perfectly for each other, so they're going to come swinging at each other. And as I try to just grab my entire army, I don't want to just slam myself into the back of blindness. I need to sort of come over here so that I'm hitting both their flanks. But these wargs make an advance toward me, and I'm getting a lot better at it, but I've said multiple times that one of my biggest issues is advancing under threat of cavalry. Now, kind of in the same situation as I was, Japper MP has the archer advantage, so why not just hold the line as the footmen watch this advancing force. To be fair though, if all those crossbows get lined up and start to unload fire onto the heavily armoured Feanor lines, that would be very unpleasant. He's going to be able to make contact with the wretches before their phalanx of halberds gets in place though, and oh my gosh, he managed to get pushed down. So did he. That's insane, but those wretches will die very quickly to that punishment. It's going to be down to the halberds to really mess them up. Let's get... Oh, it's all going to be red. But this would look a lot nicer if one of these guys was on my team. But you can still see just how thick it gets in the center. And this is the issue that a lot of even these humans are going to have here, is just how badly outnumbered they are. And having that halberd just to strengthen up that line is incredible. And, you know, still, even though he's got more men all across the line, he's even able to flank around the side. Now, I start storming on in. I want to get stuck into this as quickly as I can and not just wait my turn. But the wolf riders are slowing me down a bit. Still, it's going okay. And as you say, just my mounted company locking something in place while my spearmen come in and deal with it after. So I've got my archers opening fire, but the main show is my infantry. And I'm wanting to get them stuck in and nicely divided too. I didn't want to show favoritism. Ah, yeah, of course. Happy little blue arrow there. Hopefully we see more of that in a minute. But nope, not seeing it. A lot of cavalry, so I've had a lot of cavalry attention from both sides. Ah, the Balrogs pushed all the way through here into the archers. No, they're just seeming to want to wreak havoc all along the lines here. And the lines are pretty badly shaken. These humans definitely lacking the morale of their elven friends there. Even the defenders struggling up against this. Those Troll Guard of Gothmog are nicely armoured, so you can't just rely on a great skill level to take them down. You can really do with a bit of armour piercing alongside that. And on this right flank, the defenders are really having a bit of trouble here, because they're just fighting on so many places. And my warriors of Rhegion don't care. They're coming on through just to shut down some archers. And also, I want to dig those big axes right into I'd settle for a troll's shin. Preferably his head, but we'll be accepting anything. So, good little mixture. Of course, my warriors are going to drop like flies there, but we're going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage to these trolls. And that's all that really matters. If I can just start to whittle down those trolls, getting my elite units right into that flank. Yeah, you can see from the mini-map kind of what I'm trying to achieve there. And just swallow both their sides and just push all the way down the line. Over on this side as well, trying to shut down those crossbowmen. And continue flooding forward. But it's still pretty beefy over the entire line. These Troll Guard are taking a loss or two. So trolls are not invincible, as you know they shouldn't be. But so they're taking some damage there, even just from human spearmen. The Bulldogs, sort of one of the real elite units. They could mop their way through these footmen. I'm not sure if they're armor piercing, those Bulldogs of Angband. It'd be interesting if they were. Even if they aren't armor piercing though, they're a damn good unit, so they'll be tough to deal with. And the halberds, yeah, you see, halberds are not really the be all and end all, as some people may worry they are. And you know, a damn good unit like these footmen of Amras are able to close the distance and swing them down, even with the wretches in their way. So you know, blindness has constructed his line very well, and you know, they're blitzing through it. The defenders of Angband over here having... Oh, sorry, the wretches of Angband mixing up with the defenders of Aglon are... yeah, that's much better for them here. You know, you can see how outnumbered these defenders are. But, yeah, when they're just fighting wretches and ravagers, that's nothing. Angband really relies on their halberds, their crossbows, and, of course, their balrogs and trolls to really even the playing field. Those Balrogs are down to 10. I don't know what they start with. They might have not actually suffered any casualties just yet. They're very beefy. But those trolls just running up and down the line, it's good to be mobile with them. Don't let your trolls get locked down. Like what's happened sort of over here, where my warriors of Rhegion, backed up by some shield bearers of Rhegion, are beating their way through them. The defenders of Aglon and a lot of other Feanor units have fallen back, getting some shots on me. Oh, damn. Yeah, marksmen of Rhegion shooting off these nice blue arrows. I'm not actually too sure what that does. Is it a very high mass? Perhaps we'll get to see it hitting some people. Oh, poison arrows as well. So I'm just full of special effects on my arrows. Yep, throwing them around. Yeah, very high mass. Oh, jeepers sake, he went quite a few feet in the air. So no, surprised he's not routed. So I'm just trying to shut down all those stragglers who might cause a problem for me later, and I'm not really wanting to risk friendly fire by throwing my shots into the main line. Yeah, got a nice sort of organised battle line now, and I'm continuing to just eat my way down. But Angband has turned around to face me, getting some javelins in from quite far away actually. All these spearmen, that's quite an arm on those guys. But no, the mounted company are around though, but only 16 of them, and I'm taking care of myself a little bit better. Oh, if I get locked in melee with those Balrogs, though, jeepers sake, he just minced his way through two guys. Is he gonna get up? Oh my gosh. So is he. Imagine taking a swing from a Balrog and just standing up like, yeah, you got more. No, that's pretty impressive from these guys. Continuing on though, the real staying power of Feanor, as these guys have just been getting slammed into by halberds, Balrogs, everything, and they're still pretty damn numerous, and they're still winning. No, the unit of Balrogs though is split apart, which will be confusing their pathfinding a bit. A nice little charge there from Jabberempi. And that line is... ooh, right, okay. The left flank, where they were kind of having the most success, I felt, is now where they're losing a bit badly, as those poor defenders were not able to sort of wipe out everything here. It looks like some no, definitely not any halberds came into the field, but the wretches may be spearmen, but kind of like the orc fodder. They are basically orc fodder at the end of the day. They're just not able to go toe to toe with anything, with any sort of armor like that. And the defenders are still alive. Okay, I thought they were gone. No, they were still standing their ground. There's still 35 of them. They were just like swallowed up, I guess, by those units and fighting inside of them. Crossbows, little by little, mincing their way through this force as I continue to push my way down. The warriors of Region coming back here, slicing through the huntsmen. Their armor piercing just totally worthless here, but well, certainly not totally useless, but not super important. I just wanted a big heavy unit to shut them down. Didn't want to get shot in the back in the later game. An enemy having a unit of archers can really be messy if you've not got any tools to deal with them. Those halberdiers were standing their ground for quite a while, but that will be them finished up as the sword host of Eregion takes him out. Damn, Doriath is... I don't know, man. Like, I might do that other little... I might do that other 1v1, because it's either... It's the Green Elves or it's Doriath. I don't know who's my favourite. Yeah, but until we get a human faction involved, maybe it depends on who it is. That could be, they could take it, but right now Doriath and the Green Elves are in a tough battle for my favourite spot. You can see though, Blindness is suffering a lot of routing from his men, as it as it should be. When these orcs are facing up against elven warriors, it makes sense that they are routing off the field like this. But they do have some tools to keep them together, and yeah, they're still pretty damn powerful. What's going on? The Wardens of the Girdle taking out these little axes, these little one-handed axes, kind of the same style as those big two-handed axes, just sort of miniature. And just throwing themselves into the halberds. Once again, just trying to bash those halberds before they get to form up. If a halberd unit gets to form up, they can do a tremendous amount of damage. But if you manage to slam into them as they're moving, as they're reforming, you can get that tidied up easily. My poor, I've got a nice mixture of forces here, just trying their best up against these Balrogs. But the Balrogs have been fighting non-stop for most of this battle. So, surrounded as badly as they are, they will get taken down in a moment, I hope. Even got some more Sotos coming forward as well. Of course, I'd love to get my, what are they called? Donath in Mablung? Let's go for that. They really would be troll killers. They would be Balrog killers, I'd say as well. So I probably should throw them over there, because those last few Balrogs are going to be hurting us. But I think I probably just want to mop up what's left. We'll get ourselves positioned nicely on this hilltop. The fog is going to stop us from really being able to see things too well, but yeah, it's there's not too much left to go. Blindness unfortunately crashed out off this fight here, but we were luckily able to continue on without him. Yeah, a 3-man free-for-all is never really going to be... nobody was really taking this too seriously, and I'm glad that the boys were able to slam themselves into each other. A big part of me wanted to just sort of sit back and watch it, because it was a very dramatic... it was very interesting, very dramatic 1v1 sort of entire battle line slam. It wasn't like our 1v1 that I had with Feanor in the previous battle, which was much more hodgepodge. That was a proper frontline engagement, real battlefield stuff, which I liked, and it was really tempting to just sit back and watch. But I thought, no, I need to get stuck in. I need to fight. Maybe I should have just held fire entirely with my archers, or done something else to give me a little bit of a disadvantage. But nah, it was all right. But no. So yeah. Another thing, which I'll talk about as we're getting this battle closed off, dwarves of the first stage. I've been doing what I can to sort of research dwarves of the first stage, and there's some interesting, again to mention them, our here Galudathon has some interesting lore videos when it comes to the dwarves of the first stage. He made a bunch of his lore videos private, but if you ask him in a comment, he'll give you the playlist. They're still there, they're just unlisted. I think he just wants to redo them, which is fair enough. You know, he made them a long time ago, so you know, that's something good to look into if you want some information. My elite unit's getting slammed there by the mounted company. Bit unpleasant, but oh damn, I'm gonna get hit again there. Yep, so still fighting away the forces of Feanor, but I'm really blobbed up. So if he comes in for a slam, he's gonna take some damage, and he's gonna be very intimidated. So he might end up breaking. We'll see how that goes. But he's not got long left. He either breaks here or he admits defeat. Yeah, broke the general and captured him there. That's good. Yeah, broken. Nice. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what we do for dwarves. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, you can see how many kills I got in comparison to them. Like I was not stuck in there. So blindness there brought almost double the forces of Japper. I'm going to say Japper. Sorry. Japper Ibby. So he was, and you know, Feanor brought a lot of humans once again. So not too many, but quite a lot. So you can see the sort of numbers disparities that you're going to have to be facing as an elf going up against some orcs. My general there, really suffering not many casualties, so that's quite good. Catching a lot of prisoners, nice. The Donath, I guess. I hope they were going up against some pretty nasty stuff. But yep. The marksmen there handling themselves very well, and of course my mounted company. No matter, you can be melee cavalry. Going up against wargs is not going to be good, no matter what. Oh, nice. That's really cool. As I say, being in the first stage allows the modding team to do some really crazy stuff. You know, oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I love that image. It's really cool. Yeah, just it's a bit crazy. All the ships being pulled along by birds, but it's nice. It really is pretty heavenly. I think that is, you know, good old. I should know what's the name of that bloody Western continent called again? Crap, I really should know that. Anyway, so I'm trying out Angband today. So, and I'm fighting alongside Blindness there. We did jump into a Discord channel for this one. So I've got my Wolf Riders. Again, symmetry. Can't go wrong with a bit of symmetry. I've not got my Balrogs today, but I've got 2 Troll Guard. My Bulldogs. Got my General in with the Bulldogs. Ravagers. Guardians of the Iron Crown. Yeah, we didn't see these guys last time. They're armor piercing by the looks of things with their maces, and they're just a bit more sturdy. We're going up against a House of Feanor and some Green Elves. So I wanted something that I felt would be able to bash into the House of Feanor a bit. Iron Shod Ravagers there. Again, armor piercing from them. Want to get into that armor. More Guardians. My nice halberd line, as I say, that's really... It's something that makes Angband such a massive powerhouse on these open fields. So you got to use it. My crossbows, in front of them, the Spear Guard of the Iron Crown. Nice and sturdy. Not going to really be racking up that many kills, I'm sure, but they're going to hold the line. And then in front of them, the Thralls of Angband. Just a nice, massive unit size. If they do get grabbed in melee, I don't care. They're not doing any damage at range either way. So, you know, they're just there to soak up fire. And hopefully, hope that the enemy don't shoot into my halberds, because I didn't go for the Wretches formation, which I think Blindness has gone for here. He's gone for a similar situation, yet the Wretches mixing it up with the Iron Shod. So I don't really have that unit of shields and just meat in front of my halberd line, so I need to rely on them not getting in range of my halberds rather than shielding them from it. 2 Wolf Riders of Angband there. Iron Shod Ravagers. Reavers, Ravagers. Nice. In the back lines, some crossbows. Yeah, some crossbows and the Bulldogs sort of mixed in amongst those crossbows. Oh gosh, he's got a very unpleasant face, doesn't he? Then, I think Double Troll Balrog formation again. It's Misty again. Has that been every battle has been Misty? That's unfortunate. Dang it. Is that something? I don't know if that's something to do with our settings. It shouldn't be. You know, it's just some battles are Misty, but it's very unusual that we've had 3 Misty battles in a row. So yeah, Osiriand, yeah. Played by Secretariat. So Osiriand is kind of they're in the battle for my favourite faction, for sure. So out front, got some Spear Host. Behind them, the Matherin in Tol Gallon. So those AP men-at-arms units. Sort of really the only guys that are wearing some decent armour for the Green Elves. Behind them, the Erfin in Tower. So they take out this big 2-handed axe. You know, I love them. Yeah, they're good stuff. I tend to put my general in with them, which... Is that what he's done today? No, it's not. Where's he got his general? Over here. Thranduil has come on back. So he's leading the Green Elves today. That's a really nice shield. Yeah, the Ents, of course. Pretty unpleasant. Definitely capable of smashing down some of our trolls if they choose to do that. If not, then... but I think the Balrogs would probably make short work of them. The Outriders of Dulwyn. I don't know if these are the melee cavalry or if these are the Lancers. Yeah, I couldn't say. They do have a melee... Well, yeah, it might just be the Spear Cav. I don't know if they have, like... I don't think they've got proper dedicated melee cavalry. The Green Elves, I think they just have that as a hybrid cavalry. But they probably don't have to worry too much about cavalry, as Inarius has brought the Mounted Company of Killaborn. Oh, sorry. Yep. Killagorm, not Killaborn. Defenders there. So these guys have definitely received an armor upgrade. You can see that clearly. But I've got a lot of armor piercing. Hey, hey, hey. The Stalkers of Thargelion. Archers of Amrond. Amrod, sorry. They've received an armor upgrade all the way along the line. My little thralls are not going to... They're just going to ping off them. They're not going to do anything to those guys. The Stalkers of Thargelion. A nice sort of mounted company of Curafin. And then Killaborn. And, of course, the Knights of Roquini. Now, they can receive an armor upgrade, I believe. And I don't know if they've received it or not. But they're very scary looking. That red tone to their armor is just, yeah, it's powerful. It's very fearsome. Defenders there, again, with an armor upgrade. I think it's a good idea to give unshielded units armor upgrades if you can afford it. Just because I'm always going to target them. Oh, I freaking love that. Just the back of that helmet's nice. Just because I'm always going to target those guys with my archers or my crossbows. So just giving them that little bit of extra armor is worth it. The Rangers there, the O-turn, and more Rangers. Very good. So let's get stuck into it. So we are in the dry lake bed, and pretty open fields, a few slopes, a few rocks in the way, but generally, yeah, we were a bit scared about their cavalry. And my general, but you know, we've got wargs, we've got trolls, and we've seen in a lot of recent battles how people have used their wargs in tandem with trolls to just mince cavalry. Kind of in the same idea as like how I like to use spears and you know, spears and melee cavalry. The wargs latch onto them, and then the trolls come flying on in and absolutely destroy them. Because the trolls die from lance charges. They don't get killed by cavalry and melee, they get killed by cavalry on the charge. And they go down like a sack of bricks to a charge. I tried to hold spacebar to see where I was moving. You can't do that, Ryan. But yeah. So, we are coming on over here with my thralls of Angband out front. Backed up by the spear guard, as I say. What is going on over this way? A lot of skirmishers. Yeah, of course, we would have barely seen half of the Green Elf army during the deployment. Well, at the end of the deployment phase, these skirmishers, I love them, but they only get 5 shots. But then after that, they're half decent in melee. So you kind of want to use them just up against anything, so that they're ready for their infantry duties. And it allows the Green Elves to really go a bit cheaper in their infantry. Yeah, you see these guys have just pulled out those 2 blades, and they've hidden themselves. So yeah, we couldn't really shoot at them if we wanted to. But already, it's a lot of dead guys. But luckily for blindness, it's a lot of dead thralls. Definitely a few halberds are taking those hits, but yeah, good few halberds going down. But generally, it's gone okay for them. We decided to kind of, as I say, we're in good communication, so we wanted to go wide. And just see if they were willing to kind of focus on one of us together, because they were hugging up. We wanted to see if they'd go, you know, attack one of us, so then the other could charge in, or what might happen. But Anarius sends forth his cavalry, and I've got my spears, I've got my crossbows, I'm all right, you know, and I'm not going to be moving. Whereas he's positioned these guys ready to attack blindness here, so. That's why I'm sending over my cavalry this way. What is going on? Yeah, skirmisher is fine and dandy. The cav focused in on my wargs. Now, I feel pretty confident in wargs' ability to go up against most things, but definitely not fight the knights of Feanor after receiving a charge from them. So I run on back. I'm happy enough to just fall back from that. And, you know, it allows me a chance to maybe get off a crossbow shot. Is that what I do? No, it's not. Yeah, I do. Nice. They're running away from it, but I'm sure I've landed a handful of bolts. So having a look over Anarius' line there, like his wretch formation has definitely helped him out. Like, I'm glad that this is the way that we've done it. I'm glad that he's up against the Green Elves and I'm up against Feanor. Because if my formation had to go toe-to-toe with those Green Elves with all of their arrows, they would have definitely punished my halberds. Whereas, Blindness. Damn it, Blindness. Name yourself Blindness. his kind of more, I guess, brute force formation has really lended itself well for just absorbing those arrows. But he's getting messed with a lot by Cav. And, oh god, he's unfortunately even lost a Balrog there. And a lot of wargs. So, he has managed to catch some of these guys out, though. As he's having to deal with both some of Feanor's Cav and also these Outriders. He's hurt the Outriders, though. And but we need our big units. We need our monstrous units to go toe-to-toe with these people in melee. If they lose their Cav, but then, you know, all they've done is deleted our large units, then that's really not what you want to see. Those guys were healthy. Those guys were totally gosh damn healthy, and now their number has just been dropped by those knights. As well, the mounted company have come over here. Come toe-to-toe with the Ravagers, actually, who took that. They took that like absolute champs. Good stuff for them. So I'm running over here. Like, I feel really bad that, you know, I'm not really pressuring Anarius enough. So I'd get both my units of Wolf Riders, and we just want to deal with the Cav. If we can deal with the Cav without suffering too much more, then we'll be okay. What are we at right now? We're at 8 for 9. But you got to keep in mind, they've lost a few Cavaliers. We've lost Balrogs and Trolls. So, yeah. It's definitely pretty unpleasant for us. What have they got running off over there? Is that maybe a Green Elf Cav? I don't know. Yeah, that's some of the Green Elf Cav. they blitzed out of here. You very rarely see units actually manage to make it off the field in the Dry Lake Bend. But yep, just our overwhelming numbers between myself and Blindness, we are able to sort of lock some of these guys down. But we need help. And luckily, yeah, this is what I was talking about. Just lock them in, get the trolls forward, and start slicing down those horses. But we're still suffering badly for it, you know? The only reason we're taking these wargs, though, is to deal with the enemy cav. So if all of our wargs die and all of their cav is gone, great. That's all that matters. And as that's kind of going down, I decide, right, I need to mess with him. I need to be messing with an Arius here, because he's just able to micromanage his cav without issue. So I get forward my crossbows. I know I should be more careful with my crossbows, but I'm confident about my battle line. I'm confident with my halberd battle line. So I get forward my my arbalists and my thralls and just kind of say, yes, stuff it. You know what? Shoot me. You know, any shot that's coming into them is a shot that's not going into my main line. And I am able to get a few hits down into the real meat of Feanor's army in the back, and avoid these archers there. So it's not bad. Inarius really hasn't constructed himself with too many humans in mind. He's gone pretty hard in the footmen of Amras, so that is definitely a change of pace. The Outriders, good little spear cav, great for doing things like this. Just mincing out a few thralls, coming back out, mincing out a few thralls. What have we got over here? Good. Yeah, managed to lock in a few more of these mounted company, but I'm pretty much done at this stage with my poor wargs. So and I'm not really asking for support from Blindness. I think he's kind of focused in there. And I was kind of hoping he would just be watching this, but it took me a few seconds to really sort of say, hey dude, you know, help. But he does come and help me out in a moment. But yeah, so I get forward all my thralls at this point, because he's actually used up all of his ammo. Ah, good. Yeah, so that's what I was chuffed to bits with that then. And I was just wanting to get forward and get some focus. The stalkers are still there. They've still got their jabs. And they're out of ammunition too. Oh wow, very good. So yep, feeling pretty good about all that. So I can just sort of unleash a bit of point blank fire into these archers, and it doesn't really matter if my arrows are doing no damage. If just about all of them are hitting, it's still gonna hurt. Let's follow a few of those. Yeah, we're in. Oh, very nice. Well done, thralls. You know, you're not worth much, but you're worth something to me. And the knights are finally getting taken down a peg, and I have 6 wargs left. So, you know, you really have to sacrifice so much to deal with the Feanor cavalry. But it's such a massive power, as we've seen, you know, how much damage they can do in the last few battles. They really are something that you want to devote a lot of resources to shutting down. Over here, though, it's about time for them to start making some advances toward me. They're not really happy with me just continuing to shoot them down all the time. So my thralls there, really not happy about them. We actually broke them. 77 archers there broke. I guess it's just kind of overwhelming numbers. Yeah, but that surprises me. I didn't see that coming. Quite an interesting situation, to say the least. But Secretariat's got some. He's got a bit of ammunition, but not much there. It looks like it's only a few men in the unit that still have an arrow left. So we'll see what he wants to do with that. The Thralls of Angband by Blindness. Yeah, so they used up their ammunition quite aggressively. They've definitely killed a lot of us with that arrow fire, but we've got more of it because our units are bigger. And so that's all well and good, but they're not really suffering too much for it. You know, the Green Elves are quite lightly armoured, but they've got half-decent shields, and it's not so much a case of them being able to defend against it, it's a case of us not doing much damage with our really pitiful arrow fire. But they do make a move sometime soon, so let's, because I'm just kind of pitter-pattering at them, so let's go into 2x speed as I continue to just try and tease a few more shots out of them, or maybe even tease an attack out of them. So yeah, the reason I love the Green Elves is it's kind of weird. because I always talk about how much I kind of dislike hybrid units, like the Lake Town Infantry and the Corsair Infantry, but the hybrid units of like the skirmishers there, they just speak to me. Maybe it's because they are really quite good. They're both, it's not that they're just hybrid, it's like, oh, they're kind of good at being an archer and they're kind of good at being a swordsman. The skirmishers are good at being an archer and then they're good at being a swordsman. You know, maybe that's why. That's what speaks to me about it. But they're a big draw factor of it. And again, because I'm a nerd, aesthetic and lore, I like the lore of the Green Elves, I like the aesthetic of Green Elves, and, you know, I can't wait to be a Green Elf and just massacre dwarves for, you know, totally legitimate reasons. Actually, no, that is very legitimate, you know. Yeah, though the dwarves are definitely were very wrong in that situation. But hey, you know, get memed, I suppose. The Spear Guard coming up. As I say, now that we're not too worried about their cavalry, I'm just going to be throwing the Spear Guard into melee. It's, oh, good. And you can just see how thick my bloody lines are. I've got line upon line upon line upon line because I'm a bloody orc. It's what I do. So, yeah, and I'm throwing forward my Troll Guard and just slicing and dicing here. And Feanor's pretty good, but they're lacking AP a bit. So units like my big beefy Troll Guard, I say they're lacking AP as they hurl javelins at me. Poor Guardians of the Iron Crown took that, but they've got their beefy ass shield, they'll take that on the chin. The defenders there, nice and skilled, so maybe lacking AP, but they're still a good unit to go toe-to-toe with the Trolls. So that is not too bad. I'm actually losing because these Ents have thrown my formation into just total imbalance. Over here, Footmen of Amras battling up against it again, not really formed up properly, but we're seeing here, I guess? No, I'm not formed up better there either. The Guardians of the Iron Crown are actually winning against those defenders. I know we outnumber them like 2-1, but still, it's impressive. But these are the cream of the crop, the absolute best orcs that you can find. We are getting sliced in the back there. And now, so what I've kind of got here, this is kind of what we wanted to have happen. For two of them to be focusing on one of us, and for me to basically just be the meat shield, while blindness swarms forward and deals with what's left of Secretariat's army over here. And then, hopefully, he'll have enough left to face up against whatever the enemies have. What's that word there? So, Skirmishers of Rathloriel. That's a nice word to say. Yeah, Rathloriel is a word I can say. What's this popping up? Oh, the Rangers. The Rangers, boys. Yep, the only Ranger in the game, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, only body-piercing archer. So, I kind of like that we're being a bit more sparing. You know, it's, you know, in Reforged we have, like, everybody's got, like, just, I think more factions have a Ranger than don't. So, yeah, I hope it does. I hope we do keep those kind of really specialized units being pretty specialized. Trying to sort out my halberdiers, get them organized, get them back in. But even though I've not got any support there, these halberds manage to get themselves formed up properly, and they're able to hold the line up against these far superior units of the Footmen of Amras, and even the Archers of Amron, to be honest, with that armor upgrade. The Bulldogs throwing themselves into the centre there. They're going to have a good fight up against the Footmen of Amras. Since Cenarius really hasn't gone too heavy into the men that the House of Feanor can bring, that kind of has meant that he's not really been able to get the uber elites as heavily. So my Bulldogs, there's not really many infantry units on the field that can slice their way through the Bulldogs with ease. But over here, yeah, you can just see how thick my line is. Like, I keep talking about that, but it's something that's very interesting to me, just to see the different fighting styles of these elves versus these orcs, and just how much denser my line has to be in order to make this fight beneficial for me. And I'm really glad that I've got my Spear Guard on the right flank, because the right flank would shatter if it wasn't held by, you know, the Guardians of the Iron Crown and the Spear... Oh, sorry, it's all the Spear Guard of the Iron Crown. You know, if it wasn't held by them, it would be disappearing. Ironshod Ravagers actually having some okay fighting there, getting stabbed getting lanced in the side. I always do talk up when people do save up their Lancers for the later stages of the game. You know, if you don't have a need to use them, just don't. Just save them. Just save them. It's definitely a good idea. The Rangers there, though, are sorting themselves out. These big, big heavy, not halberds, or just big two-handed weapons, armor-piercing weapons, just coming cracking on down, and these guys just not caring. Nice wooden shield. I love the aesthetic of these guys. They're really cool. Like, it's one of the big things that attracts me to, like, the Rohirrim infantry. I just love that look that they have. So all of those Rangers of Hellevorn and such are really cool to me. They sliced through me there. They like really not much of an issue in getting through that. That's really cool that Secretariat's like using his two-handed axemen. Like they were charging in and out. They were coming in. They were cycle charging me. It's cool to see infantry sort of cycle charging. But my girthy formation is slowly but surely mincing through, and they may have made a few breaks, but as we can see with the approaching blue horde of my ally, blindness is coming, and he's going to be able to back me out of this. And the far side, I'm doing yeah. As I say, it's just I really appreciate the Guardians of the Iron Crown. Like, I think they are pretty damn solid units, especially for Feanor. I think if you were going up against, like, I think that this was all to do with, I was up against Feanor and Blindness was up against the Green Elves. I think Osiriant. I think if we had swapped places, this would have gone very different. I think that would have been a bit messy, and of course Blindness is Balrogs coming flying around, just mincing people. Not really too sure where they don't want to fight right now, but yeah. Every faction's got a different aim though, and I want that to stay that way. But definitely, like, it seems to be the consensus, and I understand that that double Angband on an open field, it really is, don't face Angband in an open field type situation. I'm afraid. I think that because we have this excess of halberds, we are able to pull off stuff like this. And I think that it's really, if you're facing off against Angband, you've got to be so careful about those halberds, and you've got to be able to deal with them. I don't know what could be changed about that. I'd say I'm actually playing, I should state that, since these were all played at the end of December, I've not actually updated my game since the end of December. There have been a few little tweaks and changes, a lot of them to do with like the Hydras. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Let's have a quick gander there. The Bulldogs really didn't kill many people. Maybe I did have the Bulldogs going toe to toe with like the Uber Elites or something like that. Oh, sorry, that's Blindness. This is Blindness first. Yeah, we'll just have a cast. We'll cast our eyes over it. Those thralls, well done, thralls. Nice, well done. Yeah, that's better. That's more like what I thought they'd get. Guardians, they're freaking well done, Guardians. I'm definitely bringing a lot of them. So I had triple iron shot halberds. So did blindness, but you can see blindness's halberds didn't really do anywhere near as well. But blindness's halberds were shot down a lot more than mine were. So maybe that's part of it. That's very likely. My crossbows kind of, I really misused them. The Troll Guard doing their thing, and then my poor Wolf Riders got minced. So yeah, although I won't do that last 1v1 with. It was just between me and Blindness, and we did I was playing as a Syrian, he was playing as the Dominion. So Dominion of Tyrion Garoth, Sauron's little minions. And we just kind of had a mess around, but it was a lot of fun. So I should state that this was from a while ago, so there's been a lot of other little patches and fixes since then, which I will get sorted out, but I won't really be able to play this game until I'm back from my little trip. So I might not just but I wanted to get these done anyway because I will get it updated before I play. And so all in all, I think I've kind of rambled over everything I wanted to ramble about. Very excited for the development of this. Really excited to see what other factions we get popping up, and how they work their way into the game. But for now, see you guys.